U.S. Farm Report weather is brought to you by H&S Manufacturing. Maximize baleage yield with less time and effort with the LW1100 line wrap bale wrapper. You can wrap round or square bales, and the automatic operating mode allows for a one-person operation.
Time now for a check of weather. Meteorologist Andrew Whitmire joins us this weekend. Andrew, a massive warm-up this past week, but it did bring some severe weather to some of our viewers. But those rains hasn't been enough to eat away at the drought.
Tyne, let's take a minute here and go throughout the estimated rainfall from radar over the past week here. And we're going to zoom on in. Notice where we get some of these yellows and oranges. That's an indication of, again, some decent rainfall amounts. But notice where we're kind of lacking that rainfall. Well, it's right across the parts of the Central Plains. And that's where we're really missing the heart of the moisture. And this is the area that we really need the water, and unfortunately Mother Nature just hasn't been delivering much this spring, and in fact much of the winter as well. Much of Nebraska and Kansas has really been left out here. Updated root zone showing those reds, those deeper pockets of reds there. Again, that's the indication of some very dry soils, and the latest drought monitor still showing an exceptional drought, which hasn't moved much at all. And in fact, we've seen it raise about 1% across parts of the Central Plains. And it looks like going forward, we're not going to see much in the way over the course of the next 10 days. We're going to keep a disturbance off to the south. That's going to keep Texas, parts of southern Oklahoma saturated. Meanwhile, again, the heart of the plains, which we really need the moisture. Mother Nature's got other plans for us. Unfortunately, it's going to skip us as we go throughout mid-May. And we'll also see some of those greens showing up as well up across the parts of the Great Lakes states as well as up into the Carolinas. Notice how parts of the Carolinas, we get some of those oranges and reds showing up. That's an indication of 2 to 4 inches of water that could likely fall from in and out of shower and thunderstorm chances. Checking out the precipitation outlook here as we go throughout the mid-month of May. Notice how we keep those browns. That's the drier than normal temperatures that are in at least drier than normal rainfall as well. That's going to keep the plain states, the northern half of the plain states and the southern plain states rather on the drier side. And notice how we get those greens showing up as well down across the southern plains and west coast. I'll keep those areas a little bit more on the wetter side. And going up almost to the end of May now, we're going to continue with that drier spell to the north and that wetter pattern setting up further off towards the south. Let's dive on into the jet stream. Notice how there's a lot of red on the menu. We've had a lot of above average temperatures for this past week. And as we go into next week, we're going to see this upper level ridge building off to the west. And this is really going to get the heat going for the second half of the country. And whenever you see a big ridge building off to the west, well, that usually means a cool down for parts of the Great Lakes and East Coast and New England coastline. You'll notice that little dip, that trough beginning to develop up across the northeastern parts there of the U.S. That'll keep those folks a little bit on the cooler side as we go on into mid-May. It looks like we'll have to wait until mid-May for the Great Lakes and East Coast to warm back up again with temperatures back above average. Tyne?
Thanks, Andrew. Well, weather continuing to impact the market, but Friday was USDA report day. So what surprises did this month's WASD hold? We have Joe Vaklovic and Matt Bennett joining us next.